Well, 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 we are live.
The hell is this?
What's up,
What
everyone?
what is this? How do we do this again? What do I do
I
with my hands
I
during the
don't
show?
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
I don't know what happens anymore.
It's been so long. My
It's
mic
been
didn't
it's
know what
been
my
an
mic was supposed to
eternity.
do.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah. Well, we've been off for a little while,
Impromptu
and
vacation. Yeah.
yeah. Um. So yeah, me and Owen, we're gonna catch up on that. There's kind of like, oh man, there's multiple things going on at
There's
one
lots of
time,
shit
but
going on everywhere.
but it's just Owen and I. Episode 505. We're doing it live, so then we can release the audio tomorrow. But
We can
yeah,
say
we
that we have
figured.
a podcast for you people. So that
Yeah,
it's one of those that if one doesn't come out 2 weeks in a row, the questions start asking, is Owen dead? Is like, are they not doing NPR anymore? Like there's a lot of that. So we want to
well,
avoid all that.
I guess we found out that I either must train Owen how
Mm.
to, uh, do podcast stuff, or if I die,
It's
then
over.
everything is gone.
I've said it. I've said it numerous times. Second Eric's done. It's over.
Uh,
Not doing shit. Uh,
yeah, I have had the trifecta of illness all at one time. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. So my asthma has been really bad, off the
mhm,
charts. Usually,
mhm.
change of season is, for whatever reason, this season is probably the worst that I've been through in, I don't know, 5, 10 years, something
Mhm.
like that. And then I got sick.
Yes.
It wasn't COVID. I thought it was COVID, but it wasn't COVID. I was going to say, if I got COVID
Like
again,
COVID
man,
again, I
this is
quit.
gonna-
Like
you
at
know,
this point, the virus is using you as some sort of incubator to evolve. Like it's
yeah.
just no, like it's
What
it
did
keeps coming
Justin?
back to
What did
Eric
the
to get
doctor
stronger.
do to
Like
me
no,
in Arizona? Did he inject me with some kind of
something else
uh
happened. Yeah.
yes, I don't know. But you can imagine already having asthma, then breathing on top of that, and then I got the allergies, which
Apparently breathing is important to living, I hear.
yeah,
So when you can't do that regularly or
yeah, it's pretty
easily,
terrible.
it's pretty terrible. Also, this is an audio medium, so we can't just like stick Eric in a corner where he can do some sort of dance. Like he needs to be
Yeah,
able to speak. Like it's
yeah. It would be like I would feel okay, and then I would get up and like I would go up and down the steps, and I would be out of breath, like I couldn't breathe at all. Had to go do a treatment. Like I'm
next
like I
time.
just can't move.
Next time we'll just get you the Mac and Talk thingy so you can just type in where it's like, what do you
There
think,
you go.
Eric? I think it's very like
Uh,
Imbarakata. Like, yeah, it's it. So
yeah, yeah, my immune system. I don't know. I think it's just a matter. I think it's because not sleeping right for quite a bit, and you know, uh,
I hear if you shoot rutabaga directly into your eyeball, that will cure all things that ail you
oh,
or
really?
make you go blind. I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. Perhaps both.
Yeah. So every couple of years, I get this real bad transition, which is why I used to hate summer to fall.
Mm.
But it's the breeding season, so I get happy about it. So
It's the breeding season now because it's like it.
yeah.
Like
And the good thing is that I sort of got this all out of the way before my trip,
right.
which is at the time of this is 23 days away.
Yes.
So pretty.
And something else that's like
Yeah, I was going to
7.
say. So is it 7? 14? 7.
No,
It's now 7.
no, it can't be 7. 7 would be Saturday.
12. No, it's 14, right? It's not this Saturday. It's next Saturday.
11 days.
11 days. Owen is frozen. He can't move.
I'm sorry, 12 days.
12
okay. Days. Yep, 12 days. Yeah.
So how's that going? Yeah,
it's good.
That's about
good.
sums it up. That sums it up.
It's one of those things, man, where it's like I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have no idea how somebody like you did it twice, how my father did it like 4 times. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pulling my hair out here. Like, can it just be over already?
Yeah.
Just because there's so many things you have to do, and all that other fun stuff. And then on top of that, this season that I've had and the explosion of things, and like, this one baby snake is like, my face hurts, and it's like, well, stop ramming it into this thing. Like, so there's on the wedding stuff, snake stuff, it's all over the place.
Yeah, you picked the
So,
worst season.
I don't know why I did this to myself. Like, I should have taken it really easy this year, but apparently I'm just, but
yeah, I tried to, when I got married the second time, I tried to explain to my wife. I was like, you plan all these years for this day, and it's gone like that.
Yeah.
Why don't we just like spend half the money, take our immediate family to like the islands, get married on the beach, and call it a day? She's like, I had her bought into that, and then she watched like one of those wedding planner shows. It was all over, man.
And I lost her.
Okay,
Yeah,
I lost. It was worth a shot. So
we are this close. Everything is being prepared. Everything is getting prepped. Yeah, we're almost done. But
good.
It'll be one of those things where it's like, it'll be a relief when it's over, because then we can get rid of. We have like, I didn't know my house could hold that many wedding decorations. Like, there are boxes on boxes and boxes. So like, it's one of those, like, those things will be gone. We'll have so much more room for activities. Like, it's so
yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Nice. So I guess let's start with your, so actually, just a little bit of NPR history. This would be the week that I would have done the broadcast, the official first solo broadcast of NPR in 2011.
Because the anniversary's the 15th, right?
No.
No.
It's I think it's the day you get married.
Yes. Yes.
It's the actual day. If I'm not mistaken.
I somehow have to work that into the vows. On this, the day of NPR's like 11th anniversary, she will gut me like a fish in front of everybody.
You're getting married on the 8th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the day.
Perfect.
What are the chances?
What are the odds? Although I invited Jason, and Jason and Eric are headed out to Tinley, because Tinley Park
is the same weekend.
8th. Yep,
right.
Same weekend. And I remember when Scott Borden got married, and he got married also on a Tinley Park weekend. And Jason's like, if you ever get hitched, don't you dare ever have it on the Tinley Park weekend. So he calls me to tell me he can't come, and he's like, you lied to me. I'm like, what?
You made a pact
years ago. You told me you wouldn't do this. I'm like, I didn't have control. Like, yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that would be, wow, God, I don't even know. What is that?
11 years, 12 years. I need to know for reasons.
That's 11 years, right?
Jesus.
Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
It's 20.
I think it would be. I thought it was because we did the Christmas. I think last year or last Christmas.
11 years. Yeah.
11
years.
11 years.
Okay.
You get someone for the 11th anniversary. I don't know. China?
I don't know.
Crystal, is it paper? What's that bullshit that they talk about?
If only I would have timed this a little bit better. It would have been when my actual wedding is, so I could buy the gifts the same. But I did not.
But the problem is that I'm going to be sitting here one day being like, it's October 8th. It's the NPR anniversary, and something else. I just can't put my finger on it. Like, I'm forgetting something else. And then I'll have to be like, oh, shit. So, yeah.
So... so you just had a Brettles clutch hatch, right?
Yes.
Oh so man. Many. And that's it, right?
That's it. That better be fucking it.
There's nothing else that can do.
Well, the ring is still on the table. So if the ring lays, then I have to deal with that. But we should be done.
Okay.
Should be done. Done.
So let me ask this question.
Yeah.
Since we're so close, well, I guess a lot of your carpets are probably already back on the swing of things, right?
A lot of them were, and the bread
Okay.
light, she's not going next year. She's going to um another female's going next year. I have that double het that's gonna go.
Okay.
The double het striped stonewash thingy I got from Lucas to
Mm-hmm.
that stonewash mail I got from you. So I'll be able to actually produce stonewashes.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
So there's that. And then but you got to think about it, because I mean, this is the time of year when I'm walking around the room and being like, you
Mm-hmm.
and you, not you, and you. And I will say that this whole summer I have been buried under baby snake stuff, wedding stuff, all this other stuff. So
Right.
I may not have hit them as hard with food that I used to.
Okay.
So
So
like my female olive python that
right.
laid the eggs. First off, her clutch has been the best clutch of olive pythons I've ever produced. 11 eggs, 11 babies, and they are all eating now. Like, I didn't even
Wow.
have to bust out the chicks or the chick down. They went straight for rodent.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, holy
Nice.
crap. I'm like, I want to breed her again. But
Right.
she did not recover as fast as the other olive python did when she laid her eggs.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
So is
I
this is the different line or something, or what's
I did line. I mean, I got them from
was
different places, but uh the one female that laid this year was my Tom Kyogan female. And the
mm,
female that laid it last year and the year before is my question mark girl that I got from like a vendor at Hamburg. So
wow, okay. Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know what her origins are, but there can't be
Well,
that
I mean,
many different lines of olive python kicking around.
well, I think originally when they came into the States, there was five, and then
Oh damn.
somehow there was five, and then somehow they sort of got just crossbred, and nobody sort of worried about it because I
I need
think
an
it's the
olive
point.
python. Here's an
It's the
olive
point you
python. Yeah.
always make. They all look
Yeah.
the same. They all, it's just it kind of absorbed each other to now. I would say there's the albino line,
And then
and then
that's
the
everything else. Yeah.
the normal, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call that other line.
Yeah,
You know?
because it's the other thing is that the male for all three clutches has been the same boy, and he's another one that I picked up at a show.
Oh, okay. I
So
wonder. Do you think that like affects? Do
I
you think
think,
that that played an effect in it? I mean, because think of Tom Kyogan's like one of the top Python.
yeah, I
Obviously,
listen.
he's not around
I
that
think,
much anymore.
I think health of the mother
Yeah.
affects everything. Because I had the one female that was caramel head exanic, breed to my caramel head exanic, and I got the eggs, but mom had a gnarly RI when she was getting ready to lay. Got
Uh-huh.
the eggs, got them in the incubator. Mom died shortly thereafter, and this clutch I have 3 feeders now out of
Okay.
the 10 that hatched, and they were my first clutch to hit the ground this year. And it's
Oh,
just
okay.
been a dog fight, like just going.
Really?
Um, and they're gorgeous. All the babies are pretty. I haven't, like, I sent you the pictures of the one that I'm going to hold back onto because she's a super caramel something or other.
Right.
But it
Oh,
was
yeah.
just,
That
yeah,
was that was nice.
yeah. But all the other ones are just as nice. But it's just I've had to force feed tails.
Oh, wow.
Nobody's eating nothing.
It seems like I've heard that from quite a few people. Like I got
Mhm.
hit up a few times talking about, tips for getting, babies to go. That's sort of why we did that show,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I wonder if that's a weather thing or like why does it seem like like if the East Coast side has like if a couple people have a bad year, it seems that everybody has a bad year. I mean, they
Right.
produce stuff, but it's not in the same, volume as it was, when everybody was firing on all cylinders, and vice versa on the West Coast, same thing.
Mhm.
I always wonder like what that's tied into. So
It's weird because sometimes everybody has a light season or everybody has babies coming out their ears, and then the other thing is like I think prepping for healthy babies that are going to eat starts now with prepping mom.
Yeah.
You got to prep her for the season. So that's the whole thing. If you want healthy babies, you start now by feeding like crazy to their mothers and make sure that they're of healthy weight and size and there's no issues. And in this way, because healthy moms make healthy eggs, healthy
Right.
eggs make healthy babies.
Right.
Done. I don't know. It's weird because I've had like the entire olive python clutch immediately took the food.
Uh-huh.
The white lips, most of them are eating now. I have 3 or 4 that just go so excited and so rambunctious around food. They don't eat it. They just thrash it around and throw it all over the place. So it's that kind of stuff where eventually you got to get some teasing. I have a lot of the, I can only have like 2 or 3 carpets that aren't feeding, but not that one clutch, but the Mad Hogs are something else that I'm banging my head against the wall with them, the Giants and the Blondes. So,
yeah, but you kind of figured you were going to have trouble with them, right? No?
The Giants, I expected out of the 20 something that I hatched this year, I have 2 that are left that aren't feeding. So I don't think I can really bitch about that too much. But the Blondes, out of the 8 babies I hatched, I only have 2 that are eating. So you can tell where I'm getting lazy with certain stuff.
Right.
Like, look at my rhinos. Last year, I would sit down and I would, or 2 years ago when I first got the rhinos, I would sit down and I would tease each one of them with fish scented pinkies. And I would sit there for like an hour, 2 hours, slowly making sure each one takes a pinky. And if it doesn't take a pinky, then I just give it a fish. Now I'm just feeding them fish. I'm like, here's your fish. I don't give a shit. You're eating. I will deal with you later. When you've put size on, then I will start transitioning you, or I'm going to sell you as a fish feeder. I don't care. Like, are you healthy and eating? Fine. So, yep.
Cool. Yeah. I would probably follow the same suit as what you're doing. I would just be like, no time for this 2 hour, nope.
Nope.
Yeah. Where did I see that? Timothy, he was saying about did you see the Dunn's pythons for sale?
Yeah, I did see Dunn's pythons. Who had those?
Oh. Joe Svitalski.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Move on.
Are these they can't be captives, so they're wild caught weetars.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, who are the only people we know who are breeding them right now are, well, in the States at least, is Nick, Ryan.
I love how
right?
an average, it's Nick, Ryan,
KJ, but I don't know if he's got his up to size yet.
He's kind of like
Kohler's a couple years off, maybe 2.
Yeah, but his are from the same line, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just throwing out people who have Dunai, like Jeff and Kendra. So yeah, they're imports, which is cool because now it's unrelated to some of the shit that we have here, even though most of the shit we had here was wild collected anyway, adult wise.
So it says,
let me guess, they are, I forget the price, but it's like $3,000 the pair, right? 4.
Hold on, I'm going to just share it.
There it is.
Yeah. So
1.1 Lias is Dunai.
Yep. Rarest and most sought after Indo python.
Sure.
Maybe. I don't know if that's.
I don't know. I'd go for a Rinka before I, like.
Again,
3,655. Where the hell did you come up with that number?
I don't know.
Just pulled that out of his ass.
So what do you think? I mean, is that?
It's a Dunai.
What makes you think that that's a Dunai as opposed to just being a Maclots python?
Macs don't have that kind of color. I
mean, it's just the color.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is a better representation. The guy down here.
Yeah.
So that is Dunai because they have that gray and then they have those darker kind of scales, almost speckled, freckled.
I thought Dunai couldn't come in anymore. No.
Yeah, well, the problem is that with importation from Indo, you have a certain number of animals on the list. So like you import 12 Maclots pythons. Next year, you automatically have a permit to bring in 12 Maclots pythons. So that's fine. No more, no less. Now, if you want more, you have to appeal and they have to go through a whole process to try to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like say sales are bad on Maclots pythons, so you only want 10. Okay, next year you cannot go back to 12 without there being a whole big rigmarole. So eventually with Dunai, what ended up happening is they just stopped bringing them in,
Yeah.
and nobody went through the whole process of appealing to get more. And there's usually two types of Dunai, just kind of looking at them. There's the guy on the bottom and the guy on the top. They're both Dunai just because Max would have a more busied pattern. They're more of a
Is it
darker.
darker? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like the reverse. They'd
And
be
the
dark and
speckles are
have the
gold,
light
right?
freckles.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. They're.
Yeah.
I was gonna say gold, but yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they'd
lighter.
have the lighter freckles, and then they would also have the uh they also have a different color head. Max have a brighter head. Like you can see the distinct color change.
Yeah, it almost looked like. I gotta be honest. When I first saw that, I was like, "Is it a granite super zebra?"
I mean,
This looks like a granite berm to me.
yeah.
Until you see the head, you know,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can definitely tell it's a
They
liasis
remind me a
because
lot of
the
Silver
head
Savu.
scalation. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're cool snakes for sure. Do you think
Yeah.
it's worth that price tag? Would you buy
Hell
that?
no. I mean, I don't know. I've not purchased one. I got my boy from KJ, and I didn't pay that much or anything like that. So I don't know what the going rate was. I'd have to talk to some of the people who actually purchased the Dunai from Ryan, Nick, KJ, things like that. I don't even know what the price is. I think his price is way out there. Is somebody going to pay for it? Hell yeah. Somebody's going to do that. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be I mean, it's cool that they're, that
I
they're
would love
available.
to see them.
You
I
know what
would
I
love
mean?
to see them become more and more available, and I'd love to see them get, you know, scooped up and kind of have the popularity that say like a Maclots has and stuff like that. But
Right.
that it's weird because certain prices for Indo species like Timor was spiked up there really high for a while, and I think it probably still is close to like 225 a baby or something
Uh-huh.
like that. And the good thing is that first off, we know he didn't just bring in 2 Dunai. That's
Right.
impossible. Like,
Right.
so he brought in more Dunai, so you're going to start seeing them appear with other people. So whether they be other people trying to sell them or play larger places that are interested in pythons like Nerd or this, that, and the other thing, who are just going to maybe buy a pair of Dunai just to mess around with. So I don't know. I think you're going to start seeing more and more.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be cool. That's for sure. So,
I'd like it. I could use some more, and
would
all
you
that.
get more?
I would.
Would you continue? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know why? Because it hurts me. It hurts me that I'm this close to finishing out Liasis, and I haven't yet. So I'm closer to finishing out breeding all the different types of Liasis than I am all the different
Morelia?
types of Morelia. So, and I've been working at them for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to shift the gears a little bit. So, yeah, I want to get the Dunai. I want to, muck around with Savus. Again, I have to get my water pythons to do something. So,
did you try to breed them this year or no?
yeah, my female's a bitch and my male's a chicken shit. So,
I did see I thought it was cool that I saw this video. So Dan from DM Exotics, he just got a shipment in not too long ago. Some amazing IJs on there, by the way. Some of the people in the chat have some of them, but
some IJs from that.
yeah, amazing. Like really, really nice. Riley got a really awesome striped one that's freaking incredible.
Nice.
And they came in small, which was cool.
It's good.
Yeah. So that was good to see, and people jumping on those, which is awesome. But he had what do you call it? Water pythons from New Guinea that he actually has some. And I think he was holding them back to breed them or whatever, because as you know, they're the rarest one to find,
Yeah. There's a lot. I think there's a lot more of a thing where people aren't necessarily jumping on the morph, but they're jumping on an interesting type of python. Yeah. So breeding the water pythons is cool. Obviously, the Dunai are freaking awesome to kind of jump on that stuff. It just kind of you see what you get, and
see, just like with me, right?
Mm,
The Morelia thing, trying to tick them all off, right? You know,
hmm
that kind of thing. Even
hmm
if you're going to do the carpets, I don't ever think we will get the subspecies of olive python in the states.
No,
Barrett, you know.
no, but one versus how many types of Morelia aren't we getting? Like it
Yeah,
is, yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
uh,
Oh damn it! Like it's yeah.
little update, by the way.
Mm.
The new book is freaking amazing.
You're on your third
Amazing.
read through now, I guess, or something.
Well, you know, when you all you could do is
When all
kind
you
of
can do
sit and
is
pretend to
stare.
read. Kind of comes in handy if you're trying to complete the Bible. You know, I mean, it's like this thick. Yeah.
All you can do is sit and stare
Oh my
forward. Yeah,
god, man. Oh, I can't wait to hang out with Justin and pick his brain about like, ah, man, just freaking. Everybody's gonna love it. It's amazing. It's
nice,
really, really cool.
nice.
Um, what's it say? Dan's getting one more. Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Is it from Indo? He's getting another shipment in. That would be cool if it was
That's
from
something
Indo.
else that I don't know why, but I've seen. I think I've seen more Papuan pythons for sale than I have in the last like 3 years.
Yeah,
Every show there's like a bunch of Papuan pythons. So I don't know if somebody just hit the mother load and brought them over in a bunch of bags, but Jesus.
could be. Maybe there was a clutch. Maybe there was a importer
I
that.
doubt it was a clutch. Well, yeah, maybe an importer got a clutch. Probably what ended up happening is they just grabbed a bunch.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know why. Because there
Males
was,
too.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
Because there was a bunch at Daytona. And then every like, oh, video, we're at a reptile show I've seen of like the big shows.
yeah.
There's freaking Papuan pythons. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I need to
Nice.
stop seeing them because they're like, all right, it's a pissed off snake with a bulldog
They
head that eats things. All right.
they are the equivalent to croc monitors in the python world. They're the
Yes.
croc monitors of the python world.
Yes.
You know.
Because I need another project of a pissed off animal like a hole in the head.
Yeah, man. I don't. I can't. I don't know how you are.
Me
I don't know how
either.
you're.
Me
I don't know how
either.
you're managing.
I don't know.
What
It's
was the
just
total clutches? What was your
I
total clutch?
don't.
20? 22?
No, it was close. Oh, the total clutches.
Yeah,
I think I got 10 pythons, 10 colubrids. So yeah, I think close to 20.
20. So
Yeah,
you figure just average 10.
it's not good.
That's 200 mouths to feed. So it's going to lead me to my next topic of thought that maybe we can go down, especially with sitting on all those babies. What do you think about what's going to happen with the reptile market? Do you think that because the economy is about to go in the shitter?
I mean, we've
That
talked about this a bunch. You know, when
I kind
people
of
have
remember I want to say this as reference real
yeah.
quick. I kind of remember in 2008 when a similar
Mhm,
thing happened, right? In our current lifetime, right?
mhm.
Apparently it's happened more than that in my lifetime, but I'm older than you, so we'll go on. Uh, uh, um, I don't remember it affecting the reptile market that much.
That's the thing. So people are always like, "Oh man, the economy shut down and people aren't going to buy snakes." Somehow people just buy snakes and then go hungry. Like it's like people don't stop buying snakes. They just forget everything else that they should have. Now, when shit is going well, they buy more snakes, but you
Yeah.
know, I think it's going to be a little bit slower to sell things. And I think there's going to be a lot more of the, you know, I'll give you $200 for that. Sign says 450. All I have is 200. All right, get bent. Like it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then you also have the breeder that may be holding on to those animals, right?
Right.
Because it's 200 and like then I've been there where it's like you're at a reptile show and you're like, man, I really don't want to bring these home.
So that's the other part of it too. I think there's gonna be a lot. Listen,
these home.
with the right now, the fact that I have to still pay for a wedding and I just had to buy a new hot water heater. If anybody wants to call me and throw me money at certain snakes, I'll probably say yes. Like it's this is a great time if you want rogue shit. So but that is one part of it too, or maybe not. You're either holding on the animal longer or you're selling it for less than you thought. So the market's going to kind of do this weird thing. I would say in these kinds of times, I did a lot more trades.
Yeah.
I did a lot more, wholesaling and things like that. It just kind of is one of those weird things. And yes, I do have I have a zebra het granite right now, female. Isn't that weird?
What, you need a male?
No, Morelia House is
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, I know. I'm being smart.
yeah. I do not need a boy. I need that thing gone. So
I saw the just this is off topic, but the jungle jag picture you put.
the ultraviolet. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh shit.
Well, it's like that animal. I'm like, I've been throwing food to her. No, I don't need bread light. I got enough fucking bread light. So, Jesus Christ, I just hatched out 18 babies, and I sent my normal female on breed loan because I had nothing for her to do here. So
Rhino
but
rats.
yeah, I that female I'm working on getting her up to size because I want to breed her to some cool stuff I got going on, zebras and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just keep putting food to her, and she's growing so slow. Like she is pissing me off with the amount of slow growth that she's doing to herself, and I can't shove any more food into her face.
Yeah.
But she will be a stunner when she gets big enough. So
nice.
Rhinos, there's no price check on rhinos. There's no deduction there. They're fish feeders for 600.
They're fish feeders 600. Okay.
Probably not. I'm just throwing money out.
No, he needs to buy.
Not yet. And Lisa, you know your price for white lips. I need a boy. A not psychotic boy. A not bleeds me every time I look at her boy. Female I got from Lisa, the female black bays I got from Lisa hates me.
Really?
And oh my God. And I've had pissed off white lips before, but Lisa must have trained this thing before she sent it over because
I think it's just the change from, like I imagine me and Lisa are probably the chill keepers or whatever, and then they go over to your place
and I'm like, hey,
become violent killers.
Shit. I have a female. I got enough girls. I only have 3 boys, so I got girls. You and I can talk, Lisa. Just shoot a message.
Yeah. There you go.
But
nice. All right, now that we got past Owen's wheel and deal, what were you going to say? This thing is just violent to you? Just
she is. She's just like she's a violent shade that knows how to bob and weave and come at me. Oh my God! And she's gotten bigger, so I've had to move her into larger tubs. So now she's got more room to set traps. And if I ever breed her, getting eggs from her is going to cost me an eye. So like it's
really.
That baby scared me.
Nice.
Damn it.
Yeah, I just off topic, but I saw this. There was this video on YouTube. This guy that I was watching, and he got bit by a carpet python, and
you could talk about the dude who got chomped by the saltwater crocodile.
Oh yeah, well,
I'm like, oh my God.
I thought it was going to be worse than what it was. Man.
Yeah, that croc is fat and lazy. He just punctured you horribly with, his teeth, but then let you live like he would. No, Jesus.
Yeah. So this was the channel's called Wild Conservation, and he talks about this bite that he got from this big coastal carpet. Like it was a big one,
Okay.
And he was removing it. It was pretty big.
Okay.
Compared to Ark, it was like your old coastal carpet big.
I still probably have
bigger
some.
than that. Yeah. No, but like Sophie, that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Unhealthily large. Got it.
It severed his radial artery.
Jesus Christ.
And he had to have emergency surgery to fix it. I mean, it really screwed him up.
Do you remember what was it? Oh God, who the hell was it? I can't remember, but he had to wear he got bit on the hand and he had to wear the cast for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it was I forget. There was somebody we know was.
He got bit in the hand.
Oh, God, why am I blanking on his name right now?
Does he keep carpets or is
He
it
did keep carpets. He went with this ICAST. Why the hell am I not Zach?
Dave?
Yes, Dave. Yes.
Dave Kelly?
Yeah. Do
Okay.
you remember Dave Kelly got bit on the hand? And I guess
Oh
he got
wait,
it in the
yeah.
right, like, yeah, and he got it at the
Yes.
right part where he had to
Yes.
have he was wearing a cast for a while. I think like he cut a tendon or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I
I forget, I
remember that.
don't remember what kind of carpet did it.
Yeah.
I'll have
I
to
think
ask
it was
Dave.
I think it
Yeah.
was a poplin carpet.
I think so too, because it was one of those where any other time you'd shrug that thing off and be like, whatever. Listen, hand bites suck any
Yeah.
day of the week. But it was one of those, like, it wasn't like a big ass Burmese python or a retic. I thought it was just one of his carpets. And
Right.
it just got him in the right spot.
Yeah.
And it managed to do enough damage that he had to like wear the cast. I think he had to do some kind of like physical therapy or something like that afterwards. Like it knocked him out a little bit.
Yeah. That's why that's why poplin
Hooks.
pythons are no joke. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, all right, whatever.
I mean, I think like scrub pythons probably fall in that same, especially like the bigger
roughies.
ones.
Anything with long ass teeth is gonna.
I think too. Like if you pull away,
Yeah,
just
cuts. Yeah,
I've been bit by 2 of the 3 carpets that I saw in the wild. Well, I saw 4 carpets in the wild, so 2 of them I got bit by.
yeah.
Both of them
were
were
Darwin. Yeah,
both of them were jungles. Go figure.
Couldn't get to the Darwin too high.
Yeah, too high. Definitely. Yeah. It's even too high for you, but
I know. And that was the second time we were in Darwin, and I'm like, I could climb that tree, and Rob's like, please no, like, please stop.
Yeah, that tree was really high, man. I think that maybe not as high as the O'Pelly tree, but
You can climb none of these trees. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just popped in my head because of what you're saying, but yeah, that really kind of like made me remember. And then as I think we're going to that neck of the woods in Australia, I'm like, I guess I better be on my A game here. You know what I mean?
You know, any snake bite any snake bite that's a python or whatever that I can get bit and be like, ow. Well,
Yeah.
moving on. Like even if it's bad enough that I would need to require some kind of like what Dave was wearing that cast and stuff. At least I'm not going to the hospital to get multiple vials of antivenom and nearly die. Like it's So
right. Yeah, that's true. But if my artery is severed,
that is true.
There's
not
no
a lot of listen. You're rather short. There's not a lot of blood in you. I'm like, there's a normal person, we have an hour. Eric, 20 minutes. Like it is.
Oh man. Yeah, I heard
I was cleaning my retic today, and her head's about the size of my hand now, and she's very nice, but she makes me so nervous.
Yeah,
because of I'm like, if I ever catch you on a bad day, that is gonna hurt a lot. Like, and that is like, I love you. I love you. Like, please don't hurt me. So yeah.
Yeah. It's I wouldn't ever get that way around berms, even though they probably could be the same way, but I just always got this
you ever seen
false sense of security with them because they were kind of like
I got a bad hit from a berm once because we got her and she was a wild type.
Well, yeah. Wild berms you see in Florida, you're like, holy shit.
so she was chill when we brought her in, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then she settled, and then a week later she bit me in the chest. I'm like, I hate this thing. Like it was
was that albino you had in that big cage?
No.
It was a different one.
He was really nice, and she was really nice. But this was when I was working for the zoo. We got the normal berm because then we can compare and contrast, and also like one berm could stay back in the facility and the one can go out on the road. But the normal was such a dick. We're like, it doesn't work. Get rid of this goddamn thing. When I'm the only one who's like, listen, when I'm the only one who go near it, and I'm like, listen, this thing sucks. Like it was time for it to go.
Yeah. Yeah. The only time that we really ever had any bad experiences or interactions with berms with my dad, but that was just a feeding response bite, that kind of thing.
Berms, I think, are just so inbred. They're just so stupid.
Speaking of feeding, dude, I don't even remember where I was, and maybe I was in a fog of just delusional because of lack of oxygen to my brain.
Fever dream walking around Australia. Got
But
it.
I saw
Listen, I
these
can relate.
people arguing about whether or not they should take their snake out of the cage to feed it. And like there was some guy on this thread that he's like, I've been keeping snakes for 20 years and this is how I've always done it. And if you're not doing it this way, never, ever, 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 ever. And anybody that I've interacted with since I've been 5 years old until my current state at 48, has anybody ever told me at any point to take the snake out of its enclosure to feed it? And I'm
Dude,
thinking,
that
like, why? This is what we're arguing about?
yeah,
Like,
but here's the thing. That was
like,
one of
we're
those
really arguing about
that's
this?
one of those stupid myths that people sell to people to pet snake owners as something that you need to do for the animal. You need to remove it from the bin, from its cage, so it knows it's feed time. Where in my sense is that so you've stressed it out, so now it's probably not going to eat because you shoved it over in this other bin. And I'm talking because I used to do that. I
Yeah.
used to have when I had 2 carpets, 3 carpets, I had a feeding bin and I would put them
So
in it and I
how
would
did you
feed them.
how did you learn that? Did somebody
Well, I
tell
was
you to
just
do
told
that?
I was
or-
just told that. I was told that when I purchased the animals.
Okay.
Now, I think it is the dumbest shit in the world now because you are opening yourself up to getting bit going in the bin, and you're opening yourself to get bit going out of the bin. Also, what you're talking about is like you need to make sure that they know it's not feed time. That's hard because you're opening up the cage and the scent of
Yeah.
prey is everywhere, and then
100%.
you're going at them with the hook, which is normally how you tell that the snake it's not feed time when there's not the smell of rodent everywhere. And it's so stupid to me because it's like they're in their territory, they're in hunting mode. Give them the goddamn food. Like
Yeah, it's like you're arguing. That's the crazy thing, right? I feel like the people that are sort of arguing this point, so they sort of have two one to what you're saying, right? The feeding response on an animal, blah 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 blah. Here's an idea, right? Just like instead of taking the animal out of the cage, when you're going in to service the cage, train with the hook to let them know I have never ever been bit once I've done this, right? But you have to have certain what's the word I'm looking for? You have to do certain things all the time. You have to have certain behaviors
routines.
and how routines and all this stuff to where it, to make it work, right? But like, like for instance, I never handle my animals when they're getting fed. And I don't understand, like, if you're taking it out because you don't want to get bit, aren't you going to get, is it going to take a shot at you anyway? Like, how does it know that, like, you're picking it up to put it into a feeding bin?
Right, it doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
The thing is that now it knows that this is the feed bin and this is where it gets fed. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't fucking know that. Why is this bin different than the bin it lives in? Like, this is stupid.
Studies on this. I mean,
right. Well, and there's some people who have elaborate terrariums and this, that, and the other thing who are like, well, I feed them outside the cage. It's like, okay, why? I don't want them to get dirt in their mouth. Because that'll kill it. Like, I don't like, I saw that in the wild where before the snake attacks the prey, it puts down paper. Like, it is.
No, man, it's a table.
A table, nice candles,
Yeah.
Set the ambiance, and then he waits for the rat.
Hell?
Yeah, it's like, so, and this goes on the same thing as like, do you remember people who were like, they would tie like a sock or a scarf or something around their arm? And they'd be like, I'm getting my scent onto it because then I'm going to put it in my snake's cage because then it'll learn my scent.
That I've heard.
So it learns your scent.
Right.
What does it learn? It just knows what the food monkey smells like, which it already knew.
Right.
Like,
I mean, with carpets, I mean, if we're going to talk about this probably would go for pythons in general. But I think what it must have been on a carpet python thread.
I mean, otherwise, why are we looking at it? Yeah.
And I was just like, two things go through my head. One, like, why are we
doing this?
If you want to take your snake out of the thing and put it into a bin, you do whatever you want. I don't care. Like,
But
it doesn't matter to me. Like, if you're doing that,
yeah,
right? But like, don't tell me that I have to do that or
right.
somehow I'm a bad keeper. Like, I don't understand why we draw these lines in the sand all the time of like, like if you're not doing what I'm doing, you're an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get why we always fight with each other about the dumbest shit.
The dumbest shit. And
this is so dumb.
I understand and like the idea of taking the snake out and securing it in a bin for cleaning and things like that. That makes so much sense to me. That makes so much sense to me. And then you put it back. So teaching the snake that you're going to hook it out and put it in the bin, so not to freak out and twitch and do whatever, just to go in, fine.
Right.
Adding another bin that you put food in, like now, how does it know which bin it's in? How do we know what's going to happen? I'll just bite anything that moves. It's like you're opening yourself up to that. And also, this is something that people who like have one corn snake and or one or two pythons and get away with it. I want you to come over here at feed time and try to tell me that you're going to go into my false water cobra cages and remove them and put them in a bin. Okay? Because I opened that door just enough to throw their fucking food bowl at them, and then I slam that thing home because they're coming, and they're coming angrily. Like, it is... just
Brandon said it was on the carpet python discussion board. Okay.
No, that's not our page. We don't need to.
Yeah. I noticed you got the Morelia House shirt on. All right.
I do. I sensed Brandon, and I knew he was going to be coming here. Yeah.
My man.
I have to rep Brandon as much as humanly possible, even though I'm pretty sure he uses the Rogue shirt as like, a rag or something at this point.
He cleans out the scrub cages with
Yeah, I mean,
scrub musk.
Yeah, this is my
scrub.
Quick, get the scrub musking rag.
It soaks up the schwees because of the cotton in it. I don't know, man. I don't get that. I'm all for and this is where I think we run into problems with, trying to advance herpetoculture when it comes to, let's just even narrow it down to just pythons, right? Because it's like we're always, I don't know. It's like, I guess it's the problem of the world today. It's like you're either in my camp or you're not, and you believe everything I believe or you don't. And if you don't, you're a piece of shit. And it's like, man, we could learn so much from each other, but like I just don't understand the mindset that you're doing that, right? Like I understand like you don't want to get bit when you're feeding it, but here's another thing though. Like in all of the snakes that you've had, Owen, right? From when you first got into them to when you got scrubs and white lips and like with me and going through all the same type of thing and all these things. I never once was going to compromise the animal by stressing it out unnecessarily, especially with some of these like poplin pythons and
Why?
All of these rare wild caught Bolin's pythons, like all of these scrub pythons. It's it's all bleachy. Nice.
Good.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know.
It's one of those things where you don't have to do it. Like, I think one of the reasons my white lips bred is because both my male and female golds are dicks. Like they're horrible. Like they don't like me at all.
Yeah.
Like, but they don't need to like me. I don't.
I guess that was
like me.
That's the point I was trying to get at. It's like in all that time and knowing that what I'm getting into, right, and researching the animal and the temperament of each species and how it differs from the other one, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like I kind of went in with the idea that at some point I'm going to be bit. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I personally always wanted to make sure that I didn't get bit, not for me so much as for the animal, because if I mean, how many times I've had it happen a couple of times, right? In my younger years with scrubs, I would get bit, they break a tooth, it got affected. Now you got to go in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in their mouth, and you got to go, and take care of that, which is now you're even stressing the animal out more, and when you're dealing with these wild caught animals, that's the make or break. If you're stressing it out, you're going to kill it. I shouldn't say you're gonna, but more than likely it's
more than likely you are.
Bad.
But it's like it's an added thing. This is already a rare species. This is always already a hard to breed species. why do you have to add it by being like, and now you will be the only friendly Timor Python I can carry around my shoulders
Well,
at a show?
I
It's
think the
like, what
history has
the?
shown, right,
Yeah,
that the more you breed pythons, generation after generation after generation, what happens?
they
They
get easier
become,
to feed and they get
yeah,
dumber.
yeah.
Like it is,
Well, yeah, they
yeah,
tame down and they're not as agitated as
right.
or food aggressive or
Because
defensive or
you
whatever you
have the
want to say.
ones because you have the ones that are gonna eat first, live, and you have the
Yeah,
ones that aren't gonna freak out every time and refuse food and flare and do all this other crap. They're the ones who don't get bred because they're jerks and all the other fun stuff. So
right,
you slowly get into that, and that's just part of it. You get into the other ones where they're mutations that are overbred and stuff like that is
right,
fine, but eventually you do get away from the animal because if it's not going to eat, it's going to die,
right.
and then that doesn't get moved forward. So that's how you get into the easier stuff with that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And then as I was reading that, right,
mm.
I'm reading it and I'm like, why did I just waste? I threw my phone and I picked up the more complete carpet
why
and said, what am I
why
doing?
why did I waste
If I
several
want to learn
seconds?
about carpet
Yeah.
pythons, I'm not going to the internet to find out. I'm going into this book and gonna read as much as I
Well, it
can.
doesn't it doesn't make any sense to, if you want to do bins and you want to feed that way, that's fine. But you know what? The first clutch of carpet pythons you get, that fucking thing's going to go out the goddamn window because you know what? You're not going
Yeah.
to care. It doesn't want to
Yeah.
sit in its bin, eat, sure. Doesn't want to sit on its water and eat, whatever, fine, fuck it. Like it's one of those things that is something that I think people who only have a few pets
Yeah.
have
But
the
even that
luxury of doing. Even then, I don't
isn't the cool.
understand it.
I mean, one of the coolest things, I mean, we've all like, I mean, the thing that everybody wants to see when they come to see your snakes is it
Eating.
eat.
Yeah.
So like, why would you want to not? You want to see all these behaviors, and I'm all for that. I freaking
Mhm.
love watching all that shit. You know what I mean? That's another thing in my state of lack of oxygen.
Just up
Just
right up
watching my
against the
diamond,
freaking cage.
watching my
Yeah.
diamond python upstairs. Just like watching its behavior and stuff, and
Poor
it's
snake.
it's freaking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get that. Like, why you wouldn't want to observe of all things that.
Well,
Like,
but then there's the thing of like, I know people will say they try to feed it outside the cage because then you can tame it down. This way you avoid getting bit when you open up the cage and reach in. To which I say, if you spend 5 seconds to look at your animal and know what's going on with it, you
right?
can avoid that. Maybe just don't reach in, don't lead with your face. Like, use a hook.
Yeah,
Um, and just know, like, dude, I know when my guys are turned up and ready to come flying and food because they're all up against the glass. They're all doing this. They're all over the place, and they would be suicide to throw your hand in there.
right.
Like, why would you do that? That's welcoming a food response bite, and those suck. Like, so
Yes,
I'd
they're
rather
probably
open
the
up.
worst bite you can
I'd
get.
rather open up the cage and shove a rat right in their face. They'll bite and wrap that, and then I can just close the door. Like, there's no sense of trying to handle that. And I would say, like, there's no zoo on the planet that removes the animal into a holding thing to feed it out of a reptile.
No, that's true. Yeah, I didn't
They
even
they
think
open
of
the
that.
door, they shove the food in the thing's face, and then they close the door.
That's true.
So why are we doing it? That's
Yeah,
purely a pet myth crap bullshit. Because you know what?
yeah,
I think after a certain point, you get to that one snake that doesn't really care if you're going to take it up and put it in a bin, or maybe it wants another mouse after it ate the other one, and it's going to come for you, and that sucks.
yeah.
So I will say this: I have my I do separate for feeding and put in different bins the animals that are cohabbed.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
100%.
yeah. So
I totally get that.
I will bust out the Mad Hogs into separate bins, and I will bust out the Vietnamese Blue Beauties, and I will bust out the female corn snakes. They all go in separate bins, and they all eat, and then they all go back to their own cages.
Okay.
But it doesn't tame them down anymore. Like it's still one of those.
I
Like,
found that they're more on fire.
listen, I
man.
need to do that before I start thawing food, because if I start thawing food and then I go to separate, it is a fun time.
Right.
Like it is. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, right? Let's talk zebra carpets for a minute.
They're zebras.
because um,
I have more zebras right now than I've ever actually owned at one point. Ooh,
I really did, and I could be wrong, but I think that this is sort of the kind of what Brandon is going after with his zebra
nice
breeding stuff
black.
that he's doing. This is from Sean Carroll, by the way. He's in Australia, and probably the most yellow and black animals. His animals are freaking incredible. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that popped out to me is the amount of black on this animal.
I say I like the black.
Yeah, like I think of remember when I used to tell you that pinstripe? I used to say, crazy man.
One day I'll have
You're
pinstripe
crazy.
carpets, and it'll be like,
But look at that. That's pretty much pinstripe, except as you get to the neck, how it opens up.
Yeah.
It's
I will say,
more,
like, you see, you kind of have some yellow bleeding into the black, but in certain
little bit.
spots, yeah, but up near the spine, though, like that black is just solid.
Yeah. So I'm gonna close that one, and
I should take better pictures of the baby zebras I produced this year.
this is another one in Australia.
Yeah.
And this is designer pythons. Look at the amount of black on that.
I like that.
Same thing, except I can't really tell in the picture, but from what it looks like right up here, like at the neck behind the head, it looks like it doesn't have that same pattern. It looks like the yellow is more of that, like just the little pinstripes instead of like what you see in the other picture where it sort of it's starting to have the carpet python pattern, like the normal jungle pattern, but just refining that black, because like you're saying, this sort of, you can still see sort of the yellow in some of the scales that are there, but still, I mean, imagine just selectively breeding that so you get a black snake with a yellow stripe going down its back.
It's like, so this animal, I just sent you some pictures of the zebras that I did this year. So this animal here, if you look, I included a picture of Popeye, which is Curtin's wildline zebra, which is the dad to my zebras. It's like the reverse of that animal. Like, so that one's got a shit, like Popeye's yellow, nothing, like it's almost like this is a yellow snake with black markings, and the last one was a black snake with yellow markings. So
I wonder what it is with genetics with carpets, though. See, it does the same thing. Look, see how the neck, see how it's kind of like you're starting to get more of that pattern.
Yeah.
But as you get down, it gets more, stripey.
Yeah,
What's
and the
this?
babies
This
are
is
just
what it was bred to?
that's mom. That's the Mojo reptiles. That's the female I used.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
And if you go past Popeye, that's the zebra boy. Yeah. So you can see why.
Yeah.
Like see like his back where that you that all that yellow that's going to come in there.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Carpets. What an ugly duckling until they
fuckers.
Until they,
thank God nobody likes them. Like it's
yeah, he has a, it's some amazing and this is his pairing, right? When you see Sean's pairing.
Watch it be one of these, like,
let me show you.
I love it when it's like something random and it comes out to like, holy shit. Well, that's a zebra jag in the back, right?
I think so.
Has to be. That's a nice zebra female or male, whichever one. I assume,
I'm not sure.
This is how ingrained I am. I assume the jag is automatically the boy, because why would you have a jaguar female? They're stupid. Yeah, why would you trust her with eggs? Like it's.
And here, I don't know if I think this might be the same animal, but this is just a different shot to where it's more opened up of that original one we first saw with all the black. That's nice, right?
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I like the contrast. I like the contrast of more black on a zebra. It's weird now.
I've always liked that about jungles too. Like I know everybody focuses on the yellow, but to me, man, the more black you can put on those, I don't know. It just reminds me of those old MP days of things.
It's like we like the contrast is really where everything kind of is just, you dig it. So
dude, I got to give another shout out to my man Andrew Paris. Like this guy has such a taste
Now Puget Sound
for.
Pythons get in here. We were done talking Duneye, and now they're here.
Oh, now you show up.
God damn it.
They got some coffee coming in the mail
Oh.
to us to check out.
Anyway,
Andrew
you were talking.
Paris.
Yes.
Like, look at these jungles, dude.
Andrew
Like,
Paris has been working his jungle projects for as long as I can remember.
look at that
And
thing.
Jesus Christ.
Look at that thing.
It's like a goddamn Jaguar without the
Yeah.
brain problems.
Man.
Andrew was really picky about his jungles for the longest time, and it shows, and it worked out great for him.
Look at this German one that he has. I mean, again,
picky, particular. Sorry.
Look at that.
Jesus.
Like, that black is just solid black, except for, I mean, like a little bit of, but holy shit. Man, I don't know. Hats off to you, Andrew. And then he just got these that just hatched out, and I'm like, they're not even like, they're probably their first shed, and look at them.
Yeah, that
is gonna be sick as an adult.
That reminds me of the 50-50 shit where it's like,
right?
Yeah, like that's what they would call 50-50s, because you got a 50% black, 50% yellow, and I love that look. I really do, especially if the yellow comes in, which I know it's going to. Just that's cool.
Wow, awesome stuff.
Yeah,
and then the reason I'm bringing this up, and I sort of was like, I was happy to see some of the results of people being very selective about animals that they pick for breeding projects and whatnot. And I know that sometimes people, I think somebody that may be coming into carpet pythons may think that that's like kind of like it comes across as kind of elitist or like kind of like snobby, I guess, to a certain extent. Like, but the reason is because, I mean, good in, good out. You know what I mean? So
that's what it is, and that always takes me back to that one dude who didn't buy your Lightning line because he's like, well, what's the difference between the jungle over there at the dealer's table and this jungle? It's like, well, Ferrari crap. Like, I don't like it. Bicycle. So it's just kind of that thing where it's like, if you have good in, you're going to get really good animals coming out of it. So we don't breed everything with a cloaca. Be selective.
So here we go. Coastals, right? Eric Hernandez, another guy crushing red coastals, right?
Yep.
That's old time red coastal, right?
Everybody like, sees that. Like, you got to remember, like, we used to have the red coastals, they gray out when they got this big.
Kind of, a little bit more than what we're seeing here. But kind of like what we're looking at, right? It's just, to Nipper's point, he's always telling me, "Where's the red?" That animal, you know what I mean? Why is it called?
Listen,
red? Stop,
shut up.
But now what he's done is that.
Yeah,
that's his red snap, which I would dare say is almost caramel color. Yes,
I've seen caramels that kind of look like that, but they don't have that kind of color. But yes,
so here's just a crazy thought: could caramel just be a variant? The caramel red hypo could be a type of locality carpet.
I don't know.
How would you prove? I guess it's been proven, right?
You can prove that you can have red caramels and you can have hypo caramels and this, that, and the other thing. So they are separate.
Right.
But I think they do play off of the same alleles, just in different ways.
That's an amazing animal.
Yeah, I like that.
Really nice. So
I somehow like forced, blackmailed, threatened Buddy into giving me that red striped female out of the joint pairing that we did this year.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I told him I wanted it, and then I even had Melissa call him and be like, "Will you just give him the damn snake?" So it's but that thing when she gets big is going to be killer, and it's a female, which I kind of wanted to be a boy because I was going to throw it with that tiger jag that I got from you if it was a boy.
Oh, okay.
But it turned out to be a girl, so I got other plans for it. But god damn, dude, red is something fun you can play with a lot.
Yeah. And I don't see red in any of those snakes. See, the thing is that they hatch out red.
Bright red.
So that's why they sort of, we'll call them
The fact that there's a
reds.
tinge of red left in them when they're adult size means they're better
Yeah.
reds than what we had.
Probably
So,
could have been maybe maybe a better name, but like I think when they started originally hatching out, they were sort of trying to, you know, s- I guess the thing about carpet pythons back in the early days is like you would hatch out these just wild looking carpets, right? And you weren't sure because remember, it's sort of about the same time that ball pythons were really coming into, like they were pretty much mainstream at the time that I got into carpets. And it was all about trying to figure out these different morphs and these random things that would come from Africa and blah blah blah. So I guess the thinking was, well, why couldn't this be the same of the same thing as what they're doing? Why
right.
would this be different? Why would these pythons be different? Let's try to do it. And then they would pop out. Like there was this one drives Owen crazy, is the red hypo jag, which was like
it drives me crazy, but I bought one. Like I
right.
don't like it drives me crazy because Talon is a red hypo jaguar. There's nothing
Yeah.
red nor hypo, and you guess he's a jaguar. Like it's
So I guess it refers more to the line than the look, but
and that's the
they do
thing.
hatch out red though.
Exactly. So that's the thing is that when Talon hatched, he was pink. And he grew into kind of like this dusky kind of orange thing, and then he settled out in this kind of like offish yellow kind of thing. But the red female that I got over here, she's from him. So he does throw reds.
Right.
So that's where it all came from.
Right.
But there was this big drive to set your babies apart by either naming them something cool or calling them something cool or being if they would figure it out. And it kind of took people like Nick stepping up and being like, so are you guys going to like prove this shit out? Or like, because none of this is real unless you prove it out. And very few people did. I remember Anthony Caponetto had like 6 or something IJ morphs that were like the spider, the labyrinth, like all this other stuff, and it was just weird looking IJs. But he also had that weird that one tiger coastal he called the liger, which was just like a kind of a weird reddish coastal thing, if I remember correctly.
Right.
But
yeah, it was called. I do remember that. I think
yeah, but it's like nothing was ever proven. Now,
right,
these animals' genes are in some of the animals that we have running around here that are still left, and that might be why you get a freaky looking thing every once in a while, because if you have a freaky looking adult and you breed it with another freaky looking adult, you're gonna get freaky looking babies. So
I think more of it just has to do with you get a lot of variability when you
tons
get produced carpets, and like
that's why holdbacks are so fucking hard sometimes. Like it's just
yeah, they really can be daunting to pick the right one out, because a lot of times you don't get it right.
I want to say I have 3 holdbacks so far this year. Four.
Okay.
I have the super caramel, and then I hatched out 2 caramel tigers this year, a pair, boy and a girl.
Okay.
First fucking time I've done that since I've been trying that project for goddamn eons. So it's like, I'm like, cool, done. Yeah. So, and then jungle stuff, just because it's like this one boy has got such thick black bands, and I'm like, all right, you're staying, just because I need a normal boy. I need to stop sending all the really good jungle males elsewhere. So
I'm going to share a picture real quick, and I believe this is Eric's animal. I had it just in my drive of red coastal jags. That's why they're called red.
Dear sweet baby Jesus.
It's kind of a red orange.
I mean, it's kind of red. It's more of an orange stuff.
Yeah, it's more of orange, but it's probably better to say what Eric said in the chat was it's more of a hypo type of.
I would agree. Let's call it a grapefruit drag and just call it, and that's it.
So that kind of like made me think about, when you think about the that, right? What about Axanthic? Because the reason I asked that, right, is because I saw Billy Hunt, who has some.
Do you have some red Axanthics?
No, he just has a striped tiger Xanac, but like it kind of looks like an old school tri-stripe, no?
I mean, yes, but the colors are wrong. Like, yeah, but
You
the
know what I'm
filter
saying?
on your camera's fucked up. Like, it's
I know
yeah,
this is a little grayer and dark, but like, the Xanac gene is funny to me. It makes me think that there might be
dude. I had
variant
an
levels
animal.
of that as well.
I
No?
made an animal like this that had a ton of black on her like this, but she was brown. This is like one of my first stripes I had was like this.
It's very Peterson-esque to me.
But this is it, and it could be depending on because I know Billy's got all that stuff. But
I think
this
this
is
is a Balin Tiger Xanac, if I'm not
this is where you
mistaken.
begin. Like you take this animal and you cross it with other Xanac tigers or an Xanac jaguar, and this is where you begin to refine it to the point where you get a really cool, completely bald back, silver glowing tiger.
Yeah.
Like this is the base animals is what you have
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
all there. You just got to refine the stripes, and that's not
Yeah.
hard.
The head stamp looks like the Noid.
It's a dark head. I love the
Remember
black.
that was so that's funny, right? In the early
Mm.
days of carpets, right?
Mm.
That was sort of like the thing that everybody would like go crazy about. Like, look
The
at
head
that
stamp.
wicked
Oh my god,
head
it's got that
stamp.
turtle head stamp.
Uh,
People would make up names based off of the head stamps. Bullwinkle.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know, just some carpets that popped out to me throughout the.
We enjoy carpets. Yeah.
I do.
And
I
pictures
quite
of
do.
carpets. Reminder: the calendar competition is on.
Yes.
And to be honest, the day the calendar competition closes is like the day before my wedding. So I might forget. You guys might have an extended time. Like, the cutoff date might be a little bit longer than normal. So, and
I
enjoy
haven't
it
really.
because we have no idea what the categories are going to be for next year.
I haven't really looked
There's some good ones.
at a lot of them, but Brendan Mayer had this one
Mm-hmm.
that like really.
Oh, is it the black flag thing, the striped coastal? He put like psychotic exotics.
Yes.
Oh my god!
With just like the one.
I mean, that's. I love that. I love that. It's almost like a blackout carpet with like a couple stripes. It's gorgeous. And he did exactly what we wanted. He took it outside and put it down. Like
Yeah,
it's great.
he's geared to win. Hold on, I'm gonna put it up real quick so people can check it out.
Mhm.
I don't. There it is. Yeah,
Yep. Love it.
because
I
it
love
looks
that thing.
wild, right? But look,
I love it.
it's like a coastal jungle type of thing. I don't know,
Yes.
man. It's just so. That's such a unique
But the
snake.
contrast at that, like the next one down he has is the female. It's like is a Balin tiger, and that thing's gold.
Yeah.
It's like I almost don't want him to breed them together. It's like, no, like find another really dark animal for this one and then leave her with something else. Like it, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah, I guess I should probably share that one because that one's pretty mint too,
I mean,
man.
she's gorgeous. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Share. Yeah.
If anybody's
That
wondering,
reminds
Eric
me.
and I will fold for tigers.
This one reminds me of that old tiger that Anthony Caponetto had.
Yes,
that sort
I
of
loved
founded
that
the
tiger.
Citrus Tiger HCQ
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's a nice Ted Thompson tiger.
Yep.
That reminds me of it,
That's very much a Ted Thompson tiger.
Yeah.
I think
cool.
Ted's completely. I last time I spoke to Ted, he was getting out of it, and I think Jason was picking up his adults and stuff like that. So
Really?
I don't think there's going to be anything left from a Ted Thompson tiger.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of cool chondro picks. Some
nice diamond
stuff.
picks. The Asian collier bridge showed up all of a sudden, like they just popped in there. There's like 12 of them, and I was like, "Whew, thank God!" I was really kind of thinking it was like, "Well, Terry Burwell picked
for the
picked
win
a thing and won it himself." Like, yeah. So
once again, we show why chondros are not fair when it comes to
Matt
judging
Somerville.
calendar.
I mean, that's just
come on,
Jesus Christ. Matt Somerville chopped up a wild juvenile roughy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
And an Owen Pelly Python picture. Like, it's going to hurt so bad. It's going to be so hard.
Yeah. This is
And a
always.
wild green tree python. Like, Matt, we could do an entire calendar on what Matt Somerville found outside. Like, it was just.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of him
Yeah.
and all the places that he's
I
been.
kind of hate him too. It's like,
You
it's.
know. Oh wow, that coastal carpet is still around.
Mm,
Do you remember this?
I remember lots of things.
Wow, I'm just I know it's probably not good for podcast stuff, but
And it doesn't matter.
I got
They
I'm sorry, I
they
got captivated by the I made it a point not to look at the calendar thing yet
calendar, yeah.
until
Now you're looking at it. See,
and I started and I got sucked into the hole. But remember this snake?
yes,
Remember that?
yes.
That's
The hell is
pretty
it
wild.
doing? Like, breed, damn it! Like, what?
I remember when it was young, it was like really kind of lavenderish.
Yeah.
I just
Wow.
remember that snake because I've never seen anything except I guess the reduced pattern Darwin's kind of do a similar thing, right?
A little, but they have more of a refined stripe. This thing
Yeah.
like just loses all kinds of sense of pattern. It's like almost like a granite.
You can see that like that middle stripe is starting
It
there, and then it
tries.
stops, and then it kind of dots, and then it kind of gets lower.
It gets a
kinda
couple, and
disappears.
then
I find it
it turns into a
fascinating how
broad
they.
back stripe. Yeah.
I, I, one of the things that I've always been curious about is like, I wonder, has anybody ever done the work to try to figure out like how the striping evolves and what adding to the stripe? Like, so for instance, right, everything that I see, right, you always get like either this part of the snake, like the top third or the lower third, doesn't have the stripe, right? It's either it's like trying to be striped, it's zippered, it's kind of like a reverse because of that, that stripe that's kind of in the middle right there that sort of usually connects to the head stamp type of deal.
Yeah.
But then it just sort of like peppers out, and then like I said, you get these dots and whatnot, and then all of a sudden it kind of widens out again
and gets connected. So what you're saying, like nobody's taken a stripe and bred it to abandon and been like, and that fucked up the stripe in this way. Well, I think the problem with that is
not even that is like if okay, say for instance you have a solid striped animal.
Yeah.
You breed it to a solid striped animal. The thinking is that you're going to get, pretty much solid striped animals.
Most of them, yes.
But even like the most, probably you see it more so now because there's been a lot of refinement of the tiger, right? To get those solid stripes. But even so much now, like you may get a solid bald back, but you don't get the side striped.
Right.
Or you get a solid bald back up until the neck, or it kind of does this weird thing after the vent where it's like it stops being a stripe. So I'm curious,
takes over the whole tail. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tail becomes, you see like little parts of banding and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, like if anybody's had like what happens when you breed the zipper to the zipper, like, you know what I mean? The zipper look to the zipper look. What happens when you breed something like this to that? What happens when you breed the zipper to this? What happened? Like those type of things.
I mean, it has to have been done, but the problem is that I think we were chasing the stripes so much that you breed the zipper to the zipper, you get some stripes, and then you get whatever the hell else, and that just kind of gets dispersed. Like, who cares?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We kind of
Thrown
don't care
all over the
about
place.
that other stuff. It's
yeah,
normal
so
coastals.
it's kind of one of those things where,
right.
The eventual desired effect is 3 stripes. 2 sides, 1 back.
Right.
And if you get that, that's what you care about. Everything else is kind of
Right.
So I think that's why more and more. Do you remember like when Jag was first kind of rolling out that having a bald back in a Jaguar was something that was
not very common?
Yeah, it was heavily sought after. Like Jags had saddles that most of the time connected into bands.
Yeah.
So it was the adding of Tiger Jag or adding of a Tiger to the Jag is when you started getting bald backs and this and the other thing. I think Jags, there's so much tiger blood now, and especially in Jags and all these other things, that I think it's harder now to find a Jag that the bands connect
like an old
and become
Jag.
like they don't have a bald back.
Yeah.
So, and that's just the way it is. It's just because any animal that was yeah, like I think a lot of Jags now are technically Tiger Jags. They have Tiger somewhere in their bloodline.
Probably.
So
Would now let me ask this question.
Mm.
With some of the other striped coastal lines that are out there,
yeah.
would if you're talking Tiger Jags, would you consider those the same thing?
Ooh.
Dum,
The
dum, dum,
the
dum.
problem is that you want to sit there and be like, no, because Tiger's a lion. It's only that comes back to Jason Bailey. But Tiger in itself has been so mixed matched and all over the place to the point where certain stripe lines are gone or depleted, and there's no animal out there that is like anybody can go. Everybody runs around there and says this is a Balin line tiger. Yeah, but what else is in there?
Right.
Because it might be Balin line tiger. You might go back a generation or two and find some sort of tri-stripe or an animal that had been crossed with a Peterson stripe.
Right.
So, and a lot of animals out there are running. Like right now, I have 2 tiger boys that are everything.
Right.
Their father was a Russian tiger, and he was bred to a Peterson crossed with a Balin.
Okay.
So all 3 of them and then I took them and bred them together. Like, because I took my pair from Kyle and I bred them together, and I got the 2 boys that I got.
Right.
So they're a mix of all the stripes, and one is bright yellow and one is red. So that's just where it comes out. So I could sit there and try to split the hairs finally and be like, they're called these, when everybody else just wants to know if it's a tiger. Technically, it is.
Right.
So.
Okay. I kind of wonder if anybody even really cares about that.
If we were going to do that, we should have done it years ago. Like, if we're going to start, instead of it being a tiger jag, it would have been which I think there were striped jaguars, but they were the jags that had a stripe down their back and the saddles, not a bald back.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, I find it interesting that I guess I don't have the picture. But when you look at popwind carpets, they don't do the same thing. They don't stripe out the same way that coastals do, right?
Right.
They don't get that. They sort of do what the jag does, to where the saddles reduce and the bald back comes out, right? And then because I think I even have the picture of the one that Riley picked up. I think he posted it up, but you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, and also it's like jungles don't stripe out the same way coastals do. Because how many people have been trying for striped jungle projects and hitting their head against that wall?
See what I mean?
Yes.
So what happens is that this back opens up more,
right? The saddles
reduce. Right?
This pattern right here is what jags used to look like. Right. Now they wouldn't have the saddles connected like you see over by the neck where like some of them connect. Yeah. It would just have saddles, and it would have that kind of head stamp, and it would be a jaguar.
Right.
And that's kind of what it was. And then you got the further reduction of the saddles and that big broad back.
So is the gene reducing the saddles, or is it striping?
What's the gene?
But it's the same thing, right?
The gene is connecting all the saddles into a straight line and leaving the back alone. That's what we're looking at. What happens with tiger.
I think what happens is the difference, right? Is
with this, it just goes backwards. Like it just
this just reduces. But in a coastal, these saddles actually eventually get small enough, but they connect. So you get this like tri-stripe type of deal. And like when you look up at the neck, you get a couple different stripes going on, especially here where you see it even more prominent. The gelatins are notorious for it, right? They have that railroad, real thin double stripes that go down. But
because if you look in the saddles right in the center, you have some lighter scales. That would be your stripe, and then everything else around it would form the bottom and the top of the bald, like the back stripe is just the top of the saddle organized, and then the base color of the animal.
So I guess what I'm saying is like depending on what subspecies you're working with, right, you're going to be looking for different things in order to make that. Ultimately, the bald back is the stripe, right? That's sort of what we're looking for, that bald back stripe, right? They're all going to get a bald back, but as you can even see just in the logo down beneath right here, that was my striped jungle that came from Justin Julander,
right?
And you can see how thin the stripe is,
Yep.
Yeah, skunk and flower.
But that's the
I
thing
don't
where
know.
it's like some jungle lions, like the ones over in Australia, they have massive stripes and like
Now, I
they're
wonder if that has
huge.
to do with they have more of that coastal blood in it, right? So,
Maybe.
like, or what we would consider, I think what you'll find in the new
Mm.
book, I don't want to give anything away,
I
but
mean, the
you'll
poster
sort of
already
see
has. So
that one right there.
that one right there. Just that one. Yeah.
What you'll see is they're kind of the same. So maybe in Australia, why you see that so much more prevalent than what we have in the States is because we're not working with the same type of
I would
founder
agree.
stripes.
And I would also say a lot of where a lot of jungles in Australia might have been crossed with coastals, a lot
Uh-huh.
of the jungles that we had up here were crossed with diamond stuff. So it might be
And
harder
that's a
to
whole nother thing.
that's a whole
Holy
nother
shit.
monster. Like, and
Yeah.
that's it might be harder to organize certain things because there could be some diamond blood in there that's preventing that from they want to do this and you're trying to get it to do that.
Right.
So I would say that it's just I think a striped jungle project is definitely something you can get. It is not going to be as easy as forming a striped coastal project because I think coastals just throw stripes. And we have jumped on that. And we've had years and years and years of refining stripes and even having genes for good stripes laying dormant in other animals that aren't striped. So I
Right.
think it's way easier to have a striped coastal project than anything else.
There is a picture of a wild diamond python in the new book. It's kind of like I think it's on a fence post or something,
Mm-hmm.
but it has the diamond actually has that stripe, sort of like the one that Gary Shavino has.
Right.
You know,
But
that's similar look.
is it an intergrade? Is it a pure diamond?
Well, it's from New South Wales, so
So
I mean,
probably pure. So
I'm gonna say yes.
who knows?
I you know, I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe it met up with
Coastal and
a coastal
yeah.
somewhere. You know, somebody's coastal carpet got out. I'm not sure, but I don't know. But oh man, so yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. That was cool talking stripes. I always
I like stripes. Yeah.
I like stripes as well.
There's I'm sitting here and I'm trying to put my pairs together for next year. And I'm going to take it easy next year.
Yeah, I would.
We're gonna focus on blackface, white lip, goldface, white lip,
Rough
Timor
scales.
pythons, ruffies. Shit,
Wait,
fuck, it's already
roughies
getting
went all the way on the bottom of the list.
Shut up.
Oh
Shut up.
my god!
Shut up.
I'm taking your Morelia card away.
Please, God, it serves
You
no
don't get the
purpose
whole
there.
punch number 6.
Ugh.
You don't get number
Give me
11.
that.
I guess
Yeah.
it would be.
No,
Give your
free
card
fro
back.
yo for you. Like,
I'll see you in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it's like coastal stuff. Like with carpets, I have the bredli, and then I have a tiger female, and I kind of want to breed her to make more tigers because I didn't produce any tigers this year.
Yeah.
And then I have one of my big girl. I might breed her. But then I have that you gave me a caramel jaghead exanic.
Yep.
So and I have my caramel head exanic male that's not proven. So I might do that. It's like the problem is that
wow.
there's a lot of stuff here.
That clutch.
And I'm like, I want to take it easy, but then it's like I can't not breed that. Like it's
I had a similar problem, right? There was like so many things that I want to breed, especially because taking last year off, that kind of thing, and not really breeding and whatnot. And doing a clutch here or there or whatever, but not nothing, that I'm putting out there or whatever. But anyway, but then you start to look at your, the animals, and I'm like, well, I have to do this one. Oh shit, I have to do this one. Oh shit, I have to do this, and it's just like before you know it, you're like, oh, what the fuck?
I'm up to like 20 fucking goddamn pairings again. It's like, no. So
yeah,
I'm gonna give a lot of females the year off next year, but
well, that's good.
Yeah,
that'll
but then
that'll be good for them.
That's the problem is that I still have girls coming up where it's like, shit, I have a tiger female pos head exanic that it's probably ready to roll. I'm gonna give that that head exanic one more year and then swear to God I'm gonna kick her out of here because I'm just not dealing with it. And exanic coastals are not my favorite anyway. I can't stand the the stuff about them where it's like, that's a beautiful silver animal. Oh, but its eyes are not quite the right. And I'm not. I'm like, I don't fucking care anymore.
I guess this is
Like,
what I was sort of getting at earlier by showing
yeah,
that picture that Billy had. I
yeah,
bet you could get a very similar look without even using the gene.
yeah. You probably could.
You know
You
what I
probably
mean?
could. But
I think it would take a lot of years of refinement to where, with
I,
the
the problem is that I think I put all my efforts into my caramel shit, and
yeah,
then going off and trying to refine something else like a big base morph like an Xanic is like, all right, either you need to go and you need to buy fucking stellar animals immediately, and those are the ones you breed, and then you have those babies coughed up, and that's what you have. You can't start on level 2 and then try to work your way up. There's a lot of shit moving around, a lot of moving parts. So I want the Xanic just so I can muck around with caramel Xanics. I've done that. And I
right,
have an Xanic Jaguar that I produce that's gorgeous. I have caramel head Xanics, and I have the super caramels that I produced this year that are weird looking. So I assume they're caramel Xanics something or other. But I don't really want to play with it too much. Like I don't know. It's kind of, it's not in my wheelhouse. It's not in my playground.
I
So
think I think if I were to do it all over again, like
mm,
say I start from ground zero or whatever, I would
hmm
pick whatever that I would pick one sort of like what you did with caramel,
yeah,
whatever it would be, pick one gene and I would sort of refine it, right? And I would work on refining that gene, but then going out and collecting, like, while you're refining that, there's other people out there refining Xantic. If you want
right,
to add that in, or if
right,
you want to add in hypo, or you want to add in alpha, whatever it would
yep,
be, you know, then you go and you try to find the best example
hmm
of that morph so that you're sort of like keeping pace with like where I screwed up is like I wanted to do I wanted to do it all. So I'm juggling
right,
all these things, and
yep,
then nothing gets the refinement to where you're just producing it. And then
right,
the other people are sort of taking that one thing, right? We talked about Andrew Paris with his
yeah,
jungles, you with your caramels. What else do we got? I mean, look what Martin's doing with his, he's probably the
uh,
gamma diamond jungle person.
Nick with the ivories,
Mike Curtin with it, yeah, Nick with the ivories, and
Mike Curtin with
Mike
his
Curtin with the
ocelots,
ocelots,
yeah,
and like he doesn't like, for instance, right? He's a perfect example, right? He's
mm.
got the ocelot, which is more of the thing that he worked on refining, but he just went and got a caramel and added it into it, right? He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have, unless he's coming to you, which maybe he did, which would be the smart
He
move.
did
Is like,
not. He did not. That's
oh,
the
Mike,
bone of contention he and I have
Mike.
is that he got a caramel, and I'm like, where'd you get that? Not from me. That's where you didn't get it. So
Oh, Mike,
it only hurts me a little bit. Hurts.
Mike.
I have to give him a rhino female because we swapped girls because he did what I did. He's like his first year doing rhinos, and he got like all the eggs. I'm like, oh god. So we swapped girls so I can have a non-related female to my stuff to raise up. So
Right.
because I need more rhinos.
There is one thing I did hear just
Mm.
I guess this will maybe be the last thing we chat about for a minute, but
Mm.
Tinley Park. Apparently now you have to have a vet check before you can
That
bring it.
was that. So this law has been on the books for a very long time.
Right.
Whether or not Tinley was enforcing it was something that I think is that. So normally when you have animals, import, export, things like that, they have to have a vet health check.
Sure.
And that happens a lot with other large animal shows like horse shows and this, that, and the other thing. You have to have a vet transport thing. Vet has to say the animal is healthy enough to do this or be here. And it just seems like reptile shows kind of flew under the radar with a lot of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, if anything, now it is being enforced, and it's not every single individual animal. It is, if you're going on the table and you have carpets, you need a health certificate for carpets. You need a health certificate for this. And apparently, they are going to have a vet available to do the certificates because a lot of people are saying they didn't have enough time. Melissa does them for work for when people have to travel with their pets overseas and stuff like that.
Okay.
They can take a while to process and do all that fun stuff if you do them the correct way, because it has to come in. They have to do a physical examination, and then they might have to draw some blood and do some other stuff.
Right.
This is for cats, dogs, and things like that. So
Right.
whether how deep dive, how much of a deep dive they want to do this for reptiles. I don't know. If they just want to make sure that none of your shit is dying in a deli cup before you throw it out there, cool. I've been to shows that have vets and had to sign off on my table before the show started that everything was appeared to be healthy and was contained.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's more of them looking to make sure that it's not bubbling out the nose. It doesn't have
I don't know. I would when I've done shows, it was more of let's make sure the frog isn't like help me like in the bin. It's one of those things where now I'm not sure. Now that they've mentioned things like health certificates, that I think implies another step further than just having the vet being like, "Oh, well, look at that." So,
Yeah, I wonder what that's going to do to that show.
I don't know. It might be one of those things where
You have to do that for Florida now too, right?
you had to do that for Florida for a bunch of stuff. Like you always had to do that for Daytona.
Right.
So, I mean,
And it seems to not be like that big of a deal. I'm just
no.
thinking like immediately I go to my head and I'm thinking like the Nido thing, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to have to test all of your animals for Nido, and
You may
like
not have to. I don't know because that's the thing is it might be one of those things where they just look at it and be like, "Nah, all right, cool, stamp," or they're like, "Okay, was this animal captive born and bred? Is it
right,
exhibiting any signs of being unhealthy? Nope, cool, stamp."
right. I got
Or
you.
they may do a physical examination of every single animal. I would really doubt that.
I'm just thinking in terms of like if you're doing a if you're doing a Nido
Mm.
test, what do they cost? I think that they're not that expensive, but if you're bringing, say, a
Well, you
hundred
got like
animals,
think of somebody like Phil Starkey who used to fly in with like a crate full of animals. He had to do some kind of health certificate to ship them internationally.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, but he wasn't doing it for every single. I don't think he was doing it for every single animal. I think he had to have them
But then
all
what's the
inspected,
point?
right? Because
You know what
he'd
I
be
mean? Like
losing so much goddamn money
no, I
just
don't even mean for
arriving.
that. If you're not checking every animal, what's the point?
Oh yeah. Well, again, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
if you're trying to if God, man, this is kind of like if
Dude, it's almost like they're trying to check a box to be like, well, we looked at them and everything looks okay. Like, it all depends on how deep of a dive
I'm
the
curious, yeah.
regulations and the vets need to do.
Yeah.
Could they sit there and say, yes, open up every single fucking cup and I want to see every damn gecko's eyeballs? Yes, but do you imagine how long that would take, especially if you're somebody who did not get the health certificates prior to coming to the venue? Now, there's the other thing. If you didn't get the health certificates prior to coming, are they going to turn you away?
Right.
You had to take, say you had five, like, end cap, 3 tables
Right.
of animals. Like, oh, is it Triple L? Usually has a bunch of animals. We know for a fact most of them are imported or this, that, and the other thing, wholesale animals, this, that, and the other thing. Are they going to sit there and go through every single animal? I don't know. And if Triple L didn't have those health certificates, are they going to get turned away? I don't know. Are they going to confiscate the animals? I don't know. I would say the best thing to do would be just to make sure that if you are going to Tinley and you are bringing animals, follow all the links that the show has put up that Brian Potter has and actually put up for that kind of stuff, just to review everything.
Right.
And make sure you're on the up and up. That would be something I would be
Yeah,
terrified of.
that would suck to
That
travel all
would
that
really
way
suck.
and be like, nope, sorry,
I
turn
drove from
around.
Pennsylvania to Chicago, got turned away, and they took all my goddamn carpets. Like, I would be pissed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily see, I'm torn on this issue, right?
I would prefer if more shows had a veterinarian
yeah,
at the show that could walk around, and if something is not right, if something is showing visible signs of distress, illness, not okay,
yeah,
that they either pull it, like tell the people to pull it from the table, they give it a checkout, they do something.
right.
I would prefer that because I've been to shows where we've all been to reptile shows where you see some shit. which is unfortunate.
Shit, I've been to Tinley and I've ran into that problem, like
You know,
when we
I've
first did
seen
Carpet Row. I don't think it was a matter of anything that Brian or Bob did,
right.
like
No.
but what had happened is, you had somebody that had a table and then they sold out of the animal. It looked like they were trying to get out of the reptile hobby.
Yeah.
So they were selling everything. And then, as soon as that guy sold them all, he gave it to his friend. His friend came over. He's selling boa constrictors that are bubbling out the nose. And like I'm looking at the people that are there, and I'm like, wow, this is a real pain in the ass to be in this spot, because I'm looking at this person about to buy this snake with bubbles out the nose. And I'm like, do I tell them? Do I not tell them? Like, I don't want to start some shit with this guy, but at the same time, like,
that's a dick
clearly
move.
you're taking advantage of them. And I think like all of us at Carpet Row sort of like I maybe it was Howard. I can't remember. Somebody went and said
sounds
something.
like Howard.
He would, right? Yeah.
But that's the thing where, I would say that anybody who says that they're getting out of the reptile industry is a blessing and a curse, because you can get really nice, cheap cages, but you better double check those animals, because if you're getting out, your level of care usually slides way down.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the other thing. They had all these cages that they built, and they were doing indigo snakes, and they all, it was the cages were covered in fucking mites, and it was like,
dude. But it's like I
remember we were spraying like a barrier
to prevent a mite, like
like
one of your carpets is like stop, like it's, but like there's. I mean, I've been to shows where I've seen a ball python that looked in distress at a deli cup, and the people brought it to the dude's attention. He's like, "Oh, he's fine." Put it behind the table, and at the end of the show, it was dead. I've been to shows where some dude was walking around carrying an alligator that was probably about a 4-footer, and he's like, "Oh, he's friendly." That thing was catatonic. It was emaciated. It was thin. It was not doing well. Like. Right. The problem is with animals is that even though you're going to do everything right, and everybody is going to do everything right, there's always going to be somebody that's going to attempt to exploit the animal and not give a shit. Like there are those people who do multiple shows back to back to back, and that frog has never left that deli cup it's in. Right. Like there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and
yeah,
it would be, and we can't sit here and say that when a show tries to distance itself or make it better, we can't sit there and be like, how could they do this to us? It's like, because people keep doing this,
which is why I think that this is a reason or an idea of why I think that the reptile hobbyist, specifically in snakes, is afraid to evolve, because we haven't had to deal with any of that stuff. And now, as it's becoming more and more mainstream, I think you're getting more and more people that are coming at it like a pet, right?
Well,
and
you
if
have
you
to come at it a certain way,
right. So if you're coming at it from the pet angle, right? Somebody comes in to buy a snake, they're looking at, like, maybe they're expecting things that maybe they would have gotten if they bought a dog or a cat or a bird. You know what I mean? Like,
but the thing is, even livestock auctions and stuff like that, we're talking like beef cattle and horses, they have vets on staff, and they have people there, and they'll walk around and be like, these fucking cows in this pen number 12, they all look sick, so nothing's moving, everybody get them the fuck out of here. So the fact that now we are being held to a standard that other animal things are being held to, we're like, I don't know how to do this. It's like, well, all right, adapt, evolve, overcome. Like, okay, we've
it's
evolved.
Almost like we want to be legit, but we don't want to.
We don't want to do it.
Like, legit. You know what I mean?
It's all right. We've evolved beyond the point of sending snakes and through FedEx calling them mixed nuts. Like, okay, but that means we have to pay a little bit more, or we have to do this, or we have to do that.
Various
like,
computer parts.
We have fragile computer parts. What the fuck does that mean? So it's. We have to do this. We have to move forward with that. Like, yes, because you're not shipping it as mixed nuts anymore, you can't send it like 3-day long shipping. Like, you have to do priority overnight because it's an animal now. We know it's an animal. So that's where the point is. I would love if places it'd be fucking hilarious if places like Hamburg would have a vet on staff where I could see them pull their hair out, but
that won't happen.
Of course not. Of course not. But that's what you're eventually going to have to get to that point.
But to your point, right? That's one of my beefs with Hamburg, and
Yes.
that's why I don't like going to Hamburg. Is because we talk this game about policing our own, and yet the lady that runs that show is constantly allowing
I
people that are not on the up and up. And
No,
I
I would
get it.
love it if, like in Australia and certain like European shows, they have certain ways that you can display the animals, and that's it.
Yes, that's
I
it.
would love it if they did that, because
Yes.
the general rules at Hamburg are in certain any venomous show in Pennsylvania, the venomous goes in the bin and you secure it with electrical tape, and it's clearly marked as what it is, venomous. You buy it, it leaves in the tub.
Right.
The last show I was at, some dude was loading up tier displays like I have and you have with monocle cobras.
Oh my God.
So, which means that if somebody purchases the monocle cobra, is he going to have to pull it out of the tier and then put it in a deli cup? Now, they
Yes.
have a secure room at Hamburg. So, like if I was setting up all my Vipers and one of them had taken a massive shit or puked, I could go into this secure room, remove the animal from the bin, secure it in a box, clean the bin, and then put the animal back in the bin. They have those at the show.
Right.
So does that mean that this guy has to, if somebody purchases the Cobra, he has to take it, go to the secure room, swap out the animal, and then bring it back? Like I don't know how the logistics of this works. Either way, it's stupid, and it's breaking the rules of the show. And I would think like that's something that show promoters would want to be on top of, because a venomous bite at a show is the death of the show.
Yes.
Like that's it. It's it. Done.
Yeah. Yep.
And presumably the death of venomous keeping in the state of Pennsylvania.
Do you think so?
Depending on how it is, how bad it is, dude, our press is horrible. I told you, every time I watch a show about like dangerous exotics, they're like, here we are in Pennsylvania. I'm like, yeah, all right, I know where you're going. Like, okay,
Yep.
what are you buying? We bought this Death Adder. Cool. Like
I
it's,
remember that. I
I'm
remember
like,
that from
Jesus
back in the
Christ, I'm
day.
going to see myself in this thing. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm right over there. Like
Yeah. Wasn't
it's,
that happened before, right? To where you were on. I remember you sending me this clip. You're like, oh my God, they were at my
no,
table.
that was the video. That was the show I watched about big cats and lions and stuff like that being used on like talk shows and other bullshit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, yep, I'm right over there. Like if the camera were to pan like 2 feet that way, there's
It's
very
him.
young Owen. He's right over there. Yeah. So
I think I agree. I think I agree with you. And as far as like there should be a standard of how you're displaying an animal, because
yeah.
as you know, maybe people that are new that don't know, like that was the icing on the cake for me when I was vending at Hamburg and they were displaying ball pythons in 2-liter soda bottles.
Right.
That was it. I'm out.
Right.
I'm done. I can't be here anymore. I'm sorry. I know everybody likes
And
this
that's the
show.
thing. And
I
that's
know
the
it's
thing.
one of the only shows in Pennsylvania, but I'm out. I can't do it.
But that's the thing. Like, dude, I remember going to shows and somebody clearly went to McDonald's. Remember when McDonald's used to have the salad bar or something like that? And they just grabbed the shit them because they had the golden arch M's on them. And it was like, and then he put his animals in those. Like, I dude, I've gone to party stores at like 8:00 at night because I needed deli cups, but I've purchased deli cups. Like it's but that's the thing is that if we're going to if the reptile industry is going to survive, it will have to evolve as things come up, and it will have to modernize, and will have to actually step away from some of the old things. Like you can't sit there and be like, back in the day we did this, this, and this, and then we're still doing it 20 years later.
Yes.
Like that's, you have to move forward.
Yeah, at some point you have to
right.
advance,
So
you know?
yeah,
you learn new things. Maybe what you did a long time ago,
right,
was the only way you could do it. So now
it sucks. Listen, if I had booked a table and I had booked a hotel room, and now you're telling me I got to go spend money on vet certificates for Tinley, I'd be pissed, but I'd still do it. And then that is something else that's another added expense. So would Tinley Park be worth me going to? Probably not. The only reason I was still able to go out with it when we did it is because I went out with a group of guys and that shaved off the expenses. So exactly.
Yeah.
Even then, I still had to sell a snake or I was still not breaking even.
Yeah, remember how excited we would be? Like, oh my god, I hope I saw a snake.
Oh,
Or
please,
if we saw a
Jesus.
snake on Friday night, you'd be like, yes, I made the money
Yes.
for the table.
Yes, I'm good now.
We
Everything is
can
butter. Like
let's go out to the seafood restaurant,
right.
gentlemen. Tonight we live like kings.
What was that one restaurant where we went to?
The tin fish.
No, oh, that was great though. That was good. No, it was the other one where we went to, but
Oh,
we
that was the
racked up.
hibachi restaurant.
No, it was
right?
the other place. It was one across. It was the round one. We racked up a huge ass bill because we weren't paying attention and we were just hungry. And it was the only place we could get fucking food and beer. But they took so long that they took all this shit off. And it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my god, like we're
We
reading the
had
check.
our
We're
own
like,
room in the
thank
middle.
God they suck. We would have been in trouble.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah,
like
shit.
we're drinking, we're talking, they're bringing out stuff, and they're comping us this, they're comping us that, and we just keep going. And we find out that like the stuff we ordered, it's like, oh shit, that would have been
Yeah.
So yep.
I remember that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. That was a
Yeah.
good time.
That was a good one.
God, we had about 20 people at that table, right?
Yeah, oh, that was the tin fish one. We had like two rooms of that shit.
Yeah, but in that restaurant, weren't we in like our own
That
separate
was a
room
different
than
thing.
the
Yeah, like
regular
so
restaurant?
another time we went and we had like a little cul-de-sac. We had like 4 tables all in this one little area. It was one of those where we sat down and we were eating and we had a group of people. And then I remember Andrew Parrish showed up and like a couple other people showed up and they just got tables near us. So it just kept expanding.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember the old schooler Tinley people were like, they were kind of upset that we kind of like didn't
I don't give a
go
fuck.
to their table. And, you remember that, all that bullshit. We're just like,
I
you
do,
really, man?
dude.
Fucking
I
grown ass men. What are you talking about?
I want to go to Tinley, and I do not want to go with a single snake. I just want to go me. I just want to go me, walk around the show, do my thing, and then you know what? I want to go check out Chicago. Like
Yeah.
remember we drove for like 20 minutes to get a deep dish pizza, and it wasn't ready, so we were hanging out. Like it was just we're in the parking lot. We're like, how long does it take to make a goddamn pizza?
By the way, you can only really only eat one slice.
I
of
mean,
deep dish pizza.
Jesus.
Good God,
sweet Jesus. Loaf of bread.
Yeah, that made me feel worse than the actual alcohol it's consumed that weekend. Oh my gosh.
There's nothing better than eating a deep dish pizza and then sleeping on sofa cushions on the ground. I mean, there's a shit part of being the youngest guy in the crew because they're like, Owen, you'll heal, get on the ground. I'm like,
yeah. That is the one benefit of being the older guy, right? They're
Eric
always like, let Eric take the bed. Let him get the comfy pillow.
That's why when Bill was like, you can come sleep at our Airbnb, and he got me Wendy's chicken nuggets, I'm like, this is great. This is how you treat a co-host. Yeah. So
oh, good times. All right, well, I guess we'll call it there. And it was good to get back in the swing of things. I don't know what's going to happen when I'm in Australia. Owen's
get back into the swing of things just so we could fuck it up in a week or two.
I'm going to try to I know I want to get Nick and Justin and do a pre-program before the book comes out.
Release,
and sort of have them talk about it, but not have it come out until it.
We should jump on that because I don't want I don't want THP or something to take that and then be like, oh, the NPR guys didn't get the guys for the NPR book. Like, I mean,
hold on. If Nick or Justin do that,
we just own them. Got it.
That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. Not that there's anything wrong with the THP guys.
There's a lot wrong. I mean, no, right.
Yeah, but like, come on, man. Like we're the carpet people. But
you
good
leave
point.
the dance with the the girl that brung you. Okay, like you come here first. Damn it.
So I'd like to do that. I just don't know how it's gonna be. I'm gonna, hopefully everybody sort of pre-records whatever. But I'm gonna be out of civilization for a good 10 days.
And we better plan to do
your wedding.
Yeah, I would say we better plan to do carpets and coffee this weekend. And
this weekend.
We better record something for NPR before Wednesday next week, because once Wednesday next week rolls around, I got family coming in and I'm dead to the world.
You're done. Yeah. So we'll get that all square away. I'll give you what my thoughts are so we can kind of bang it out to sort of give us through that. Obviously Yeah. Carpets and Coffee. We haven't done that in a couple of weeks. But
We'll get on that.
obviously, clearly, so this Saturday,
Yep.
even if I'm by myself, we're gonna do Carpets and Coffee. So, other than that, I think everything else is kind of should be good to go because of the way that the release schedule. I know that Nick recorded with Lucas. I think. I don't know. I haven't seen
I don't know
anything
either.
for
We
that
should,
yet, but
if only we had
just
an
waiting to
intern
see
to
that.
help with things. Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's been busy too, so
Mhm.
we'll see what's going on. But anyway, how can you, if you want to support the network and all the podcasts that we got going on, first you can subscribe and share all of the shows that are on the network. If you want to check out, what shows we got, go over to our website, MoreliaPythonRadio.com. And there's info about Morelia and shows and just slowly evolving and redoing some of that stuff over there over time. But you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the MPR Network. If you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email at info@MoreliaPythonRadio.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channels for when we do live streams and all the podcasts come up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the GoPro up and running and we kind of figured it out. So I should get some solid footage, I think, in Australia.
The battery life on that thing dies so quickly, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Just pack one of those cell phone battery pack things and just, plug it in.
If you want to do some more, you can check out the swag at the Spring Store. And finally, we have the Patreon if you want to do that. Other than that, that's all I got.
That's it. For me, you can go to rogue-reptiles.com. There's a lot of stuff up for sale. Chinese king rats, Madagascar hogs, jungles, coastals. Pretty soon, I'm going to start listing things like olive pythons, white lips, and stuff like that. So do not ask me now. Wait till they're listed. And then I am vending the next Hamburg show, which is October 15th. So I will be there. I'm going to be taking Jason Balin's table from him. He's not going to make it, but I'll be there with all this stuff. So if you wanted to purchase anything and pick it up then, that's fine too. Any of the questions, just reach out to me. And that's all we have for everybody this week. So we'll say thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch everybody back here next week for some more Morelia Python Radio. Good night.